You are listening to the Gamer's Guide to the Universe podcast, episode number 3. Lauren, what kind of gas comes out of Uranus?
I'm assuming it's something to do with, farting, but I don't know.
Methane.
Oh my god.
But it's actually scientifically accurate. Uranus is a gas giant planet, and its primary gas is methane. So I just worded it in a really, inappropriate way.
Uranus is a funny word.
I say Uranus when I do my space science.
Good
when
idea.
we do our planets, I'm like, Uranus. And the kids start, giggling, and they look at each other, and they go, Uranus. And I go, yeah, Uranus. It's every time. Every time they say Uranus, I go, uh-huh.
That's great.
Uranus. Hey, everybody. Nichelle and Lauren here. Welcome to the Gamer's Guide to the Universe podcast. If this is your first time listening, welcome. Thank you for coming today. Our podcast is produced every Friday for your enjoyment, and the show notes are found in the description box below. Come back often and feel free to give the podcast a thumbs up, share it, and subscribe for updates on new releases. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at GG2Universe. That is at symbol GG, the number 2, Universe. All links are in the show notes below. Now let's get into it. Our first segment is Recently Played, and Lauren's going to start talking about what she's recently played.
Well, yet again, 2 weeks in a row, I've played nothing.
Shame.
I know. I think I'm just kind of in a lull with gaming right now, just because I'm 2 weeks out from getting this PC. Maybe 2 weeks.
Oh, you guys are getting them in a couple weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, I'm excited. So, I think that's kind of why I haven't really been playing. Chris has played a little bit of 7 Days to Die, but I've watched him play 7 Days to Die. That's about it. So I will just go ahead and talk about some of the upcoming games that I'm looking forward to. I actually did a little research for this one this week. I think I was on Game Informer. Yeah, Game Informer. I was looking at their upcoming releases to see if anything caught my attention. There was a couple. We've got Batman: The Enemy Within, Chapter 1, The Enigma.
Oh my.
Yeah, so it seems like it's gonna be well, obviously it's got chapters, but if anybody's played the Walking Dead series by Telltale,
yeah, there's another one too. I just can't remember what it is. It's like fairy tales, I think.
Yeah,
It's not what it's called, but it's about fairy tales.
Gotcha. Yeah, they release a chapter every, I think, couple months maybe. So that's what this one kind of seems like. The little blurb that it had about it was, in this latest chapter, both Bruce Wayne and Batman will be forced into precarious new roles. The Riddler has returned to terrorize Gotham City, but his gruesome puzzles merely foreshadow an even greater crisis. With the arrival of a ruthless federal agent and the return of a still nascent Joker, Batman must navigate uneasy alliances while Bruce Wayne undertakes a perilous series of deceptions. Which of Batman's new allies will you choose to trust? And how deep into the darkness will you let Bruce descend? So, it sounds pretty interesting. I'm a huge Batman fan, so I think that's why it's catching my attention.
This is from Telltale?
Honestly, I didn't see. I was just comparing it to the Telltale Walking Dead game.
Okay, I was just curious if all of these are from the same company.
Right.
The one that I was referencing is The Wolf Among Us.
Okay.
I've never played it, but it's actually a series I really enjoyed watching. That's The Wolf Among Us is from Telltale's, and you said The Walking Dead?
Yeah, they do one. Or Telltale does a Walking Dead. Yep, it's Telltale.
Yeah, okay. They do, I'm familiar with The Wolf Among Us. Their story, whatever these are called, kinetic novels or whatever. It's not a kinetic novel, but whatever these are called, it's really cool. I really like them. I think they're great and they're very well done. Tyler was playing one. I don't know what it was though.
I played a little bit of the Walking Dead one, and it was actually pretty interesting.
It may have been Walking Dead, but I'm not sure.
They were pretty fun. But like I said, I'm a huge Batman fan, so that's why this kind of caught my attention. I haven't...
Yeah, I'll have to let Tyler know.
Yeah, I definitely... I haven't played any of the Batman-style games. I don't know, I just never got into them, I guess. But I would be willing to try them out. Especially the Arkham games, like Arkham Asylum and stuff like that. Those games look really interesting, but I just have never played them.
Tyler's a really big Batman fan, and he likes pretty much all the Batman games.
Yeah, I heard they're really good. I just haven't played them.
Yeah. He likes the storyline. They have a Guardians of the Galaxy
Telltale
series.
Really?
Yes.
I'm obsessed with that movie,
and
so...
there's 3 episodes out already.
Wow, okay, well, I might have to try that one, too. But...
Yeah. Oh, it's available on mobile, too, so I might actually pick it up on my phone.
Yeah, this game is available on console, PC, and mobile. So that is awesome. Let's see. I also saw on Game Informer that they're bringing a new Sonic game out. Like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, I saw that today.
Called Sonic Mania. And it's actually... Let's see, I have it on here. It's actually on pretty much all... Yeah, it's on all platforms. It's on Nintendo, PC, Xbox One, and PS4. Which is kind of cool because Sonic, was a Sega game.
Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome. That comes out on August 15th. And from the sounds of it, you get to play as Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. And it's all pretty, classic gameplay with obviously probably better graphics. So that's kind of exciting because I was obsessed with this old Sonic games back on Sega Genesis. Let me show my age real quick. Destiny 2.
I remember playing it in Girl Scouts.
In Girl Scouts?
Okay, so you remember where we lived growing up?
Yes.
You remember the orthodontist down the street?
Yes.
That's where, that orthodontist office is where my Girl Scout troop met. And he had, this area that we would use, because obviously we didn't meet in the orthodontist office. That would have been weird. But he had, this space, and there's, couple tables and chairs. It's really basic. And then he had 2 of those old-timey... nickel game things, arcade games, and one of them was Sonic. So sometimes, because I was the Girl Scout, my mom was a Girl Scout leader, we would be there a little later, we would get there a little bit early to get things going or whatever, and I would play it.
Nice. That sounds kind of fun. I used to play the old Sonic games on Sega Genesis. My uncle had a Sega Genesis, and he lived at my grandma's house, so I would always go down into his room and play Sega. Good times.
So the mobile app for Telltale's Guardian of the Galaxy is only $5 for probably 1 chapter.
Yeah, probably. That sounds about right.
So,
I think that's what Walking Dead was.
I'm buying it right now.
You have to let us know how it is. We've also got Destiny 2 coming out, which I know a ton of people are excited about that game.
Mm-hmm.
I never played...
My husband's thrilled for it. I am not.
I never played the first one.
I didn't. I've seen him play it.
Everybody says it's a great game.
Yeah. I haven't played it, so I can't really comment, but just, looking at him playing it, not, actually watching what he's doing. I stare at him, too.
Oh.
But, actually watching him play, I'm just kind of oh, okay. it's never, gripped me enough to be oh, I should totally play that.
Right. Yeah, see, I don't know. When it comes to those type of games, everybody obviously knows already that I'm a Call of Duty fan, so I just have always just strictly played Call of Duty and haven't ventured out into other games, but I think this is my year. I think I'm going to venture out and try some new stuff.
I need to, because I play very niche type of game.
Right. But if you are interested in Destiny 2, it comes out for PS4 and Xbox One on September 6th. And then on October 24th for PC. I don't know why PC gets it later.
And PC, you will also, if you play World of Warcraft, you will be able to buy Destiny 2 with WoW tokens.
Really?
So what a WoW token is, just quick segue, is it is okay, so this is actually mildly difficult for me to explain. So you have WoW gold in game. That is your currency. Okay?
Okay.
When you have enough, you can do this two ways. You can buy a WoW token with cash, and I don't remember how much they are. I'm looking it up right now. And then I need the gold cost as well, so I need that list, which is there. So you can buy a WoW token from Blizzard for... Frick, you don't have this. Okay, I'm literally on the WoW token page, and it doesn't tell me how much it costs. Do you know how stupid that is?
Yeah, that's pretty dumb.
Okay, here we go. What is this? I don't even. The WoW token is an item in World of Warcraft. Okay, cool. What do I do with it? You have three options. Buy one with money in the in-game shop and sell it on the auction house for gold. Buy one with gold from the auction house, then use it for 30 days of game time to add to your subscription. Or buy one from the auction house with gold and then use it to add money to your Battle.net balance. And this is where you can come in using gold in WoW to buy your Destiny 2.
Okay.
You can buy a WoW token for $20 and sell it on the auction house. Current prices on North American realms across the board is 145,000 gold. So you can take that token and sell it and get that much gold.
Okay.
Or if you have that much gold, you can buy the token and then add it to your Battle.net balance, which will give you $15 towards your Battle.net balance. If you have enough in-game gold, you can have enough to get enough WoW tokens to add to your Battle.net balance to buy Destiny 2 for free.
Huh.
But you have to have enough in-game gold.
Right.
Like, I'm going to assume this is going to be a $60 game.
Right.
Divide that by 15, and
4 tokens.
4 tokens at 145 a piece, and as it gets closer and closer to that release date, we might see a spike in prices. You need roughly 600,000 in-game gold.
Yeah.
The highest I've ever had is about 200.
True.
But then I go buy stuff every time I get to that point, so you're better at saving gold. Like, it's totally doable.
Right.
Without a ton of work either. But for people that do play World of Warcraft, it's a thing to consider.
Right. Well, that's kind of interesting. We've also got...
So, just a little segue. But yeah, Destiny 2 comes out actually soon.
Yeah, and...
I don't know why everything comes to PC later, though, it seems.
So yeah, Destiny 2 comes out. I have a few friends, I think, that have it on there that play Destiny on PS4. So I probably am going to get it for PS4. Just because, I don't know, people. I like playing with people.
Yeah, Tyler will get it on Xbox. I don't think anybody, I probably won't play it still. So I won't get it on PC.
Right. Let's see. Going back to Sonic and Sega Genesis Flashback console comes out on September 22nd. That's kind of cool. But then I think about it, and I'm like, if they're releasing this new Sonic game for every other console, do I really need to get this Sega Genesis Flashback console? Probably not. But it's kind of a cool idea, I guess. This one is for you, Nichelle. They're coming out with an Animal Crossing app.
What?
Yes, we talked about Animal Crossing last week, briefly. I
don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, so I don't know how it's going to be, but might be something you want to look into. It just said coming soon. I think it's
release date June 2017 to December 27. I found a wiki.
Oh, okay. I think it said Q3 of 2017, which...
It was announced in April 27th of 2016.
Kind of interesting, I guess, if you're into that kind of stuff. And
yeah, well, I mean, I'd be willing to try it, but it's just there's so much that can go wrong there.
I feel like maybe it would be a free app.
I doubt it.
And then it'd be something that you could put money into, like every other app out there.
Yeah, but that's kind of the concern there.
Yeah.
Is what do they because those kind of games, I don't put money into.
No, me either.
Just for whatever reason. But it gets to the point where you're waiting a week for things to get built or whatever.
Right.
I actually would prefer it to be very similar to the Game Boy version.
That'd be cool.
And actually just pay for the app.
Right. So we'll see.
Just like you would the game, but
I don't know. I figured you would kind of get a chuckle out of that since we talked about it last week.
Yeah, I'm interested,
right.
but kind of concerned.
We'll see, I guess. And lastly, a lot of people probably don't really care about this, but I'm excited to give the newest NHL game a try. NHL 2018. That's hockey for those of you that don't know. But, yeah, I know, it sounds really stupid, but I haven't played one in forever. I actually used to play NHL 99 back on Nintendo 64, and that's the last one I played, but the game was so fun, and I literally would just sit there and play it nonstop. That was, like, the only game I would play on my N64 for the longest time. So, I think I kind of want to try the new one just to see if I still like it. But, I don't know. Like I said, if you're into that kind of stuff. But it does come out in September if you are.
Yeah, I got nothing for you.
I know, I figured. But it's just a little tidbit, I guess. But that's all. Yeah. That's all I got. So what do you have today for us for the played?
I got even less than you.
Oh, yay.
I played Stardew Valley over the weekend.
Okay.
I swear to God, I started a new file, and I don't even know why. But I'm just kind of going with it. I have like 3 save files on this game in the last like 2-3 weeks.
Nice.
Whatever. Yeah. So doing that thing, that's fine. Just chilling. It's just a chill game. But I haven't had time to play this week. It's been back to school, so it's the first week of school. The kids are back this week. And so like Monday we did a cultural training where we went and did cultural sites and helped out at them. So I did some restoration at a fish pond.
Oh, that's cool.
Which meant burning mangrove trees, because mangrove is a invasive species to Hawaii, and it had overtaken one of our fish ponds, and that means that the fish pond wasn't able to get new fish into it and not being able to be taken care of. So they've spent 10 years doing the work that they've done so far, and they've spent 15 years doing the work that they've done so far and have another 10 to go.
Oh, wow.
And it's just slow work, and it's not well, like the community helps. They have, I think it's every Saturday or 2 Saturdays a month, something like that. They have a community day where a bunch of people come out and help, but because they have to burn the mangrove, after it's been cut down, and some of the mangroves are really tall, that they are using chainsaws and ropes to fell the trees or whatever that's called.
Jeez.
It's just a slow process. You can only burn so much wood at a time.
Yeah.
So that part's really slow. And then they also are trying to keep it as much of how it would have been, because the ancient Hawaiians built stuff the way that they did because it survived. So instead, like, we're carrying rocks out to a gator, and the gator carries the rocks to the location, and then you hand build the wall again where it needs to be rebuilt. That takes some time, but again, you can only move, like, it's such a slow process because of the mangrove that you just take out a little bit at a time in comparison to what's actually needed. It was really interesting. I've been to the fish pond. I've done restoration work there before. Removing mangrove shoots and destroying them, but I've never done the burning the actual mangrove or the building wall part. So we did that on Monday, and then Tuesday was the first day back with the kids, so that was a little hectic, and then today was the back to school for everybody at our school. So our non-new students and upper levels were in the classrooms. So it's just crazy. First week is survival mode for teachers for the most part, especially when your administration's like changing the way you do everything. Which everything that our admin are trying to do is amazing stuff, and I actually am very supportive and 100% behind them in it. It's just we lost a lot of our class setup time.
Right.
So it's staying after school to get caught up, and then yesterday, you know this, like, I got horrific heat rash.
Right.
We don't have air conditioning in our schools, which we talked about in a previous episode, I think episode 1, and it was just really, really hot, and we were in the CAF, which is also not air conditioned, with a bunch of kids, and then it was really humid, so there was just a lot going on, and I ended up with heat rash.
Ugh.
And the heat rash was so bad that I had to take Benadryl and put like baby cream on my heat rash, because apparently baby like diaper rash cream, A&D cream, is really good for heat rash.
Yeah, I've heard that before too,
which I didn't know. I was like feeling all awkward buying diaper rash cream, and then I get to wear my husband's long underwear.
Well, we're both rashy. which is...
Yeah, do you actually have poison ivy?
Yeah, I'm definitely 100% sure I've got poison ivy.
Are you staying away from your boyfriend?
No.
You're gonna kill him.
Well, no, I'm joking. I'm not a killer. No, he came in the bedroom earlier and he was like, he laid down on the bed next to me, and then I looked at him and he was like, "Don't touch me." I'm like, "Then get out of the bed."
He's like, "I just want to feel close to
Right.
you."
He's like, "No touchy," and I'm like, "Well, why don't you leave?" But yeah, I think I do have it. My arms started breaking out really, really bad while I was at work today.
Yeah.
Really bad, and they were itching so bad. And
I told you it was gonna spread.
Yeah, and well, okay, yesterday when I came back from my break at work, there was only an hour left in the day, and I got a couple bumps on my arm, and I'm like, "Oh great, here we go." And I was scratching at it, and the guy that picks up my product, he was talking to me, and I was scratching at my arm. He was like, "What is wrong with you?" And I was like, "I think I might have poison ivy." He's like, "Oh, that's nice." Well, today when I went in there, this guy asked me how my possible poison ivy was, and I showed him my arms, and he was like, "Oh, that doesn't look good." And he made me go to the security guard and get, he said ask him if they have Benadryl or something, which they didn't.
Yeah.
They did have little tiny packets of hydrocortisone cream, so I got that.
Alright, yeah, so that's all I've done, Stardew Valley, and I put on our show notes, common curriculum, which is where I plan my units.
Mm-hmm.
Been on that a lot.
Right.
Which the saddest part of all that is I only have this week planned. Because I haven't had time to plan, and when you take Benadryl, you end up sleeping for 12 hours.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that after I get off, or after I finish recording. Yeah, finish recording.
Yeah. Alright, well, that's literally it. I have some upcoming stuff that I'm going to talk about, but I threw it in my news section.
Okay.
I don't feel like digging it out of my notes, so I'll just wait till we get there.
Okay. Well, if you guys have any questions or comments, or if you have any suggestions of games that you want us to play, go ahead and let us know. You can send us an email, contact us on social media, or leave a comment down below. And as always, the links are going to be provided in the show notes. So this section is going to be our news reactions, and pretty much just any kind of news that we found newsworthy, I guess, and relative. Newsworthy. Yeah, newsy news. Usually pertaining. Yes, newsy news. Sorry, I got excited.
I like it.
I like it. Newsy news. Anyways, but just pretty much any news related to the games we play or genres we like, stuff like that. So what do you got for us today, Nichelle?
I have quite a bit, but not a lot. It's I don't know, it's hard to explain because it's really not a lot. Last time was 3 pages, and this time is a page.
Okay.
But it's a lot of different topics instead of 1 or 2.
That's how mine is today, too.
Awesome. One thing that I found really interesting was that the Paris Olympics for 2024 are willing to open up the conversation to the IOC, which I forget what that stands for, but I'm pretty sure it's the people in charge of the Olympics.
International Olympic Committee.
Well,
I just made that up, but it sounds good, right?
That fits, and it probably is exactly what it is. But anyway, the 2024 Paris Olympics, which by the way, those will be in the Paris Olympic, or the 2024 Olympics will be in Paris, and then I think it's the 2028 are going to be in LA.
Yes.
Which Paris is yeah, we won that argument because we wanted the 2024 Olympics.
Right. And yes, it does stand for the International Olympic Committee.
Well, good. Yep. Awesome. I thought the little shade that the co-president threw was really interesting on that, because he was yeah, we did better than the Americans for once. It was literal shade that he threw.
That's great.
But anyway, that's not what that's about. He's willing to open the dialogue with the IOC about having video games be a part of the Olympics. With the increase in esports, he's willing to have that conversation. He did say that ultimately the decision does lie or lay with the IOC, and there were no specific games mentioned in the article that I read. But I still think that's really interesting, because when I was growing up, there was this stigma that went with video games of lazy, stupid, people played them. And now we have this esports community, which, by the way, when I go to B-dubs and I get me some quesadilla, because I don't like wings, and I'm looking at the screen and seeing people play, like, Hearthstone, or, like, one of those, like, I don't know, like, it's two fighty characters on either side. It's basically a ripoff of Mortal Kombat, but
Street Fighter
plays that game. Yeah, Street Fighter. That is actually what it was. I was watching that at B-dubs the other month or whatever with my husband.
Esports is like blowing up. It is crazy. Weird. Like, I'll talk about that a little bit later too. But
I have some more too.
Like CS:GO, their community is crazy huge. Their prize pools are ridiculous, and like the viewership is nuts. They've been playing at like, I think they played at Madison Square Garden not too long ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. Like, I do hope it's something that gets considered. I think it's kind of odd to put it into Olympics, though,
yeah,
because Olympics are, like, historically, literally, it's about being, like super athletic and athleticism. Like, video games are hard, and there are video games that really do take an immense amount of skill to be proficient and great at.
Right.
And esports is definitely a community and something that should be a thing, but maybe there should be, like, a separate Olympics.
Well, they did add them to the X Games.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I don't want to have my information wrong here, but I think 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. I think 3 years ago. They had the very first Call of Duty tournament at the X Games, and my boys in Optic Gaming won the gold medal there. But they actually gave out, like, medals and stuff like any other X Games event. It was really cool though. And I think they also have a Halo one for the X Games and possibly CS:GO.
The one that I'm looking at looks like it's Call of Duty.
Yeah, probably.
I just googled the X Games and video games or something.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool. I mean, I guess that's like a stepping stone to the Olympics-ish.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have an issue with it. I think it'll be interesting. I think older people are going to have a bigger issue than I have with it. But no big deal, you know?
Kind of cool, though.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. It'll be interesting to see where that conversation
Even
goes.
if they did kind of like a casual little, like, side tournament, like it wasn't, you know...
Well, a lot of the events that are on at the Olympics don't actually get shown on TV.
Right. I mean,
because what they're showing on TV is what they're going to get views on, so they're going to get ad revenue.
Right.
So they do strategically place certain events on time slots, so it's possible that initially, if they don't think that the video games would do well, they would be on a less desirable time slot.
Well, here's the thing. They could also partner up with Twitch and let Twitch live stream them and still get ad revenue that way.
They could, but I don't know if big people like ESPN are going to be okay with that. Because that's kind of the other side. There's a lot of politics that go into the hosting and who gets all that kind of stuff.
Right. But I mean,
so it'll be interesting to see where it goes.
Yeah, it's
ESPN
really cool.
may not be willing to lose any revenue that they could garner from it.
Right.
It's like that huge negotiation thing between all of the different networks that are hosting certain events and the time slots.
Yeah.
And what their network is willing to put on.
Right. Well,
but it has time. It may not be the 2024, but at least it's being open.
Yeah, that's really cool. I didn't know that.
Discussion. The other things I have are kind of games I was interested in that are coming out. I'm mildly interested in Destiny 2. It's kind of one of those, I could take it or leave it, but I'm willing to, like, maybe try it or watch some Let's Plays of it or Twitch streams and kind of go from there.
Honestly, I think I might rent it from, like, Redbox or something for a day and see if I like it.
Or do that, yeah. The other thing, because my husband loves Destiny 2, so I keep my eyes open for games he'd be interested in.
Right.
Another one he is going to be all over is Assassin's Creed Origins.
Okay.
That's coming out soon. I don't remember if it's this month or sometime this year. I meant to write that down, and guess what I did not do. So, I like Assassin's Creed. I've actually never played them, but I love to watch my husband play them because we have conversation. So, it comes out on the 27th of October, so a couple months from now.
Yeah, I've played one of them. I don't remember which one it was, but it was really fun. But I got stuck on this one part, and I couldn't get past it.
He loves the historical aspect
me too.
about a lot of them. And I don't know, I don't play it, but I enjoy being there while he plays it.
Yeah, they're really good games.
Yeah. I wish I could play Uncharted Lost Legacy, but they only go out on PlayStation. And it comes out on the 22nd. I think it looks great. The graphics are beautiful. I've never played this series, and every time an Uncharted game comes out, I'm like, ooh, I wants to do that. Mm-hmm. But I'm not buying a PlayStation. I don't like it.
I think I might get it. It's a really good series. I played the first 2, maybe 3. The first 3, I think. No, the first 2. And I loved them. They're like, I don't know, the storyline's awesome.
I really don't like this whole proprietary to a certain console thing. It's always bothered me. The only one that I'm okay with is Nintendo stuff, because Nintendo stuff is typically like slightly more childish.
Yeah.
So like to me, like Nintendo or the Wii, I guess now, is more of like your like preteen and younger console. And then after that, like it's Xbox and PlayStation for the most part.
Not gonna lie, I kind of want a Nintendo Switch though.
I don't really want one.
I kind of do.
There's like 2 games I would play. Like there's a Mario that's coming out that I thought looked kind of cool. And then I like Animal Crossing, so anything that they would come out with that, I'd buy and play. I think Slime Rancher would be better on Nintendo just because, like, again, like that slightly kiddie feel about it. But I have that on Xbox. Like, there's games that are befitting of the Nintendo genre, and then there are games that are not.
Right.
And I'm really not down with the whole console war. Like, I know why it exists. I'm okay with the marketing side of it, but the whole proprietary to only Xbox or only PlayStation after a certain period of time annoys me. Like, I could definitely see, like, Uncharted for the first year or the first 6 months is only available on PlayStation. And then after that, opening it up to other consoles. Like, I'd be more okay with that. But the whole... I hate it because PlayStation's coming out with a genre that I prefer.
Well, I'm getting a PlayStation 4, so I'm definitely going to get that.
We've talked about it when there's a game that we want, but that's kind of the issue with us. We don't want to buy a console for 1 or 2 games.
Yeah, but I had a PS4. I didn't get custody of it, but I had one. And I loved my PS4. I've always been a PlayStation person though, up until like 2 years ago.
My husband's always been an Xbox person, except for his Final Fantasy games, but now those are available on Xbox as well.
Right.
Like we actually have an old PlayStation 2 or whatever, so for his other Final Fantasy game.
Nice.
But I don't know, it's just something that kind of bothers me, because like I really don't want to buy a PlayStation just to be able to play the RPG genre. And PlayStation, like Xbox, has not been getting that many RPGs.
Yeah.
Like minus Skyrim and whoever makes those, that whole company, like minus that like thing, there's not very many good like RPGs that come out for Xbox.
Skyrim, that's Bethesda, isn't it?
PlayStation. I really don't.
I think it's Bethesda, because I'm pretty sure it's the same
like
people.
Authors.
I think it's the same people that make Fallout 4.
It's just like authors. I really don't care who they are. Elder Scrolls is made by ZeniMax Online Studios, which is published by Bethesda.
Yeah, I thought so.
So their developer is somebody else. They're just published by Bethesda.
Yeah. Which Fallout 4, awesome game.
Yeah, I just don't like shooty games. I'm not very good at the shooty part.
Gotcha.
I just suck at aiming. So that's my little tirade. I don't know. There's just something about the proprietary thing that bothers me.
I gotcha.
It also drives me nuts with apps, too. Like how iPhone has certain apps and then you can't get them on an Android.
And vice versa, yeah.
Yep, that bothers me immensely, too.
Yeah, that is stupid.
Like, for me, it's the same thing. But anyway. So, another game that's coming out is Valve is releasing a new game. And I got, like, really excited when I saw Valve is releasing a new game. And I was like, oh, cool, what are they coming out with? Frickin' Dota, the card game.
Oh, jeez.
So, yep, that's a thing. It'll be out in 2018. Not a lot of info. There's a trailer if you want to watch it. Not what I was hoping for. I like Dota. I definitely prefer League of Legends, most likely because I started with League of Legends, and then I saw Dota. So, I think that's, like, kind of why I preferred League of Legends. It's just what I started playing as far as that MOBA style game goes.
Not my cup of tea at all.
It's kind of like Overwatch for me. It's play a game here or there. It's not like sit down for hours on end and do a match over and over and over and over again.
Gotcha.
Like, that is the definition of insanity for me. My husband will sit down there on a Saturday morning for hours until he gets his win of the day. And if it takes him hours, he will go for hours.
That's great.
And he gets mad at everybody else, and he's like, they all suck, and just, like, ranting verbally. He doesn't like rage in game, thankfully. But I'm not into this whole card game thing.
No.
Like, my husband likes them. I know people like trading card games. There's definitely a market for it. I don't personally understand it. I've putzed with them, but that's about it, you know?
Right.
But to transition, because this actually transitions a little bit better in the realm of card games, Blizzard has this thing called Hearthstone, and it is a trading card game based off of, like, the Blizzard universe, relatively speaking. So, PC Gamer did this expose-style post on this chick named Eloise. She's a streamer on Twitch, and she's a member of Tempo Storm, which is a Chinese competitive Hearthstone team. And, like, there's, like, this part of my brain that is, like, blown that, like, there are trading card game competitions for, like, what is essentially a mobile game.
Right.
Like, it makes sense, but at the same time, I'm like, people watch people
It's got,
play.
like, a huge following on Twitch.
Yes, and they literally are watching people click cards.
Yeah, it's really boring. I don't understand it. I mean...
Yep,
it's...
and flick them up. I don't get it, but people like it. So she started streaming in 2015, basically immediately after signing with this Tempo Storm competitive team. Again, they're Chinese-based. That means that she is Chinese in this case, and her English wasn't very well. Her English was not very well.
Right.
When she started streaming, so no pun intended there, I guess. So she starts streaming, and she's kind of an adorable, cute little, like, girl, you know what I mean? She's just cute. Like, she's not dressed in what I would consider an inappropriate fashion. She wears, like, t-shirts, and she does her makeup and her hair and all that kind of stuff, but I don't blame her. But she's got this weird persona that's, like, this blend of, like, child ignorance, and that's what she's known for. But, like, she's being called the epic troll. Because they're trying to decide if this childlike ignorance is her trolling everybody, and she's just, like, this much more astutely aware than anybody knows she is. Or if it's just actually this blissful ignorance. Like, an example is when they're interviewing her, the guy that's writing I'm assuming it was a guy that wrote the article. He asked her a question. I don't remember the question. I didn't write that part down. But her response was, I think it was like about American culture or something. She goes, "Oh yeah, on June 4th, that's when the Americans attacked the aliens." That's the plot of, and he's like, "Oh, you mean July 4th, the plot from Independence Day?" And she just stares at him, wide-eyed and blinking. And she goes, "No, June 4th. When the Americans attack the aliens." And then later down the article, he revisits that kind of question, and she goes, "No, that's really what I believe. What I've learned about Americans is from Twitch's chat."
Oh, jeez.
And that's where it's like, is she blissfully ignorant, this childlike ignorance, or is she just trolling everybody?
I feel like it's a troll.
So I watched a couple of her, like, compilation videos, and I couldn't get very far into them. I find her to be obnoxious. It's that high-pitched voice, and it's actually a dialect thing. There's certain Asian countries and areas within those Asian countries where their dialect, the way that they speak, is what Americans would consider a whiny tone, and it's actually how they speak. I had a friend that was studying a couple Asian languages in college, and she said it was the hardest part about speaking in some of the ways that they spoke was that whiny tone. It was just really tiring. but it's part of the accent. Like, it's not like they're actually trying to be whiny, but the way that we perceive the sound to be, it is whiny.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this girl's name is Eloise, and she's on Twitch and all that kind of stuff, and she streams herself playing Hearthstone and some other stuff. She made friends with another streamer whose name is Hafu. God knows if I got that right, you know what I mean?
Right.
And Hafu likes her. They stream together sometimes, or whatever that's called, and she was asked how she felt about the way that Eloise runs her stream. And Hafu was very honest. She was like, I don't like it. When she's streaming or watching Eloise's stream, she's really disenchanted by what people are saying. An example from one of the videos I watched is somebody in the chat said that she looked like a Snorlax, and she was reading out what they said. And that's kind of her thing. She reads a lot of what the people say in chat, which I guess a lot of Twitch streamers do, to be honest. But because she has the accent and she's not as good at English, it's very exaggerated. So she goes, oh yeah, I pats her belly, and she's like, oh yeah, I have a big belly like Snorlax under here. And that's the kind of stuff that Hafu doesn't like, and there's worse stuff she doesn't like either. What Hafu says is it's basically they just run their streams differently. Hafu wants respect for female gamers and the female gamer community in her chat. She doesn't want people saying that she looks fat. She doesn't want people commenting like sexist comments at her.
Right.
She wants to elevate the female gamer community.
Don't we all?
Rather than... Yeah, right? Rather than what she sees Eloise doing, which is just...
Playing the stereotype, kind of.
It. Not really playing the stereotype, though. Unless she is trolling.
Right.
That's kind of the catch here, is like, you have to decide if she is trolling or not. Because Hafu says that this woman, Eloise, is highly intelligent. That she is way more intelligent than she perceives herself to be on stream. And the head person of Tempo Storm says people need to give her a second chance. If you don't like her channel, give her a second chance because you're not seeing her.
Right.
So, like, that does make me think she's just trolling the crap out of everybody. But it's still really interesting that, because, I don't remember who said this one because I didn't write this part down, but I think it was Eloise said that something along the lines of, like, she's been able to expand, because most people that stream out of China only have Chinese viewers, and it's typically Mandarin, which I found very specific, even though that's the predominant Chinese language in most areas. But anyway, she was like, most only get that viewer, but in China, Chinese viewers don't want to watch American streamers because the streamer in America blames the game and not themselves. And because of her goofy, like, silly persona of, like, kind of being a troll, she's getting American viewers to watch her and Chinese viewers at the same time.
Right.
So she's expanded this viewership farther, with a farther reach than many other streamers in this segment get. So it probably is her playing a demographic based on, like, the anecdotal comments from other people. But I still found that to be a really interesting piece to read.
Yeah, that's crazy. Seems like a soap opera almost.
It was just really interesting. I don't know. I just found it was weird, I will admit. The whole thing was weird, and there was, like, this, like, cognitive dissonance of not understanding. But, like, she does troll people, like, flat out trolls them. Like, she's playing at an internet cafe in one of her videos, and there's this dude standing behind her, and she's, like, playing a game that she definitely knows how to play because she, like, did really good at it.
Right.
And she goes, oh, what champion should I play? Which one I pick kind of attitude. And he's, like, he's mildly not interested, but the whole time she is trolling him.
Oh my gosh.
Because he doesn't know her.
Right.
And she was doing good at the game, and he's like, oh, pick that one or whatever. And she goes, okay, and picks that one, and she does great again. Like, she does troll people, like, clearly trolls them. And maybe that's why people like it. I found her to be quite annoying, so I couldn't get through most of the videos. But I don't know, I found it interesting. I'll link it in the show notes if anybody wants to, like, go watch some of her videos or find her stream or whatever, because I don't know what her stream name is. The last bit of news I have is for 7.3 for World of Warcraft. I didn't do hotfixes this week. There was nothing exciting. It was just some lame making Tuma Sargeras easier, so yippee skippy for that. So 7.3 is the patch that's upcoming. That should be out by the end of the month if it follows that 77-day rule that they've been doing lately, which I think would put it on August 29th if I remember correctly. So in patch 7.3, they are introducing catch-up mechanics for people that are just coming into the game, or people like me that this round has not spent a lot of time grinding through the raids.
Right.
I just haven't been interested in it, but whatever. So the catch-up mechanic this time is going to be confiscated tokens. If you've been playing, you know that nether shards are another catch-up mechanic that was implemented in a previous patch. I don't remember which one, around the 7.2 time though. There's no point in farming for those nether shards right now if that's what you have been thinking about doing. You can if you want like the other stuff that you can buy from there, but it's not a necessity. You will not be able to use nether shards to purchase confiscated tokens once you get to Argus. To buy a confiscated token, you need 650 veiled Argonites. This is going to get real confusing real fast, by the way.
Oh gosh.
To buy a confiscated token, you need 650 veiled Argonites. And then you can use that confiscated token to create a soul-bound item for the slot that you want it for, just like you did with nether shards. So if you are looking to upgrade a neck piece, your neck piece is like a junk piece. It's like, let's say, $7.95 for some reason, which probably shouldn't be if you like ever ran any kind of dungeon, but that's okay. Or did a world quest or a world boss. So let's say you have a $7.95 neck piece and you have your 650 veiled Argonites. You can use a confiscated token on a neck piece. That neck piece will go into your bag. You click on it. Thanks to the RNG gods, you will get a random, I think it's 910 or around 910 item level neck piece to equip for your tune.
Woo.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. To get the confiscated tokens, though, you're going to have to do what appear to be weekly quests. I'm not sure if they're actually like individually, like you do this for a week, you turn this in and get these things, or if it's some combination of world quests or what have you. I haven't played on the PTR, I have no desire, and I did minimal amounts of research for this because I don't like spoilers.
Right. Nobody does.
So, again, from what appears to be some kind of weekly quest, you go and do this weekly quest called Fuel for the Doomed World. Shocking that, like, if you know anything about what's going on right now, Argus is doomed. So that's like a really creative name. So go do that world quest or whatever it is, and you have to bring back to the quest giver 50 pristine Argonites. You turn in the 50 pristine Argonites from rare encounters on Argus, and you will receive 500 veiled Argonites. You see what they did here? Lots of Argonites with the different names, which is actually going to be a really big pain for anybody that does YouTube videos or Twitch streams or podcasts, because we're going to have to sit here and we have to say every time, veiled Argonite or pristine Argonite or something else Argonite.
Yeah, that's annoying.
And it's actually a thing that's across the board, like the different the profession changes, there's this issue with them as well. Like for jewel crafting, I know specifically there is. One of the streamers and YouTubers I watch was really upset about it because when you're talking like this, you just want to be able to say you have to go collect 50 Argonite and turn it in, and you'll get 500 something else, rather than having to differentiate. But again, you just go collect 50 pristine Argonite, turn it in, and you'll get 500 veiled Argonite. So you still need, I think it's 150? Yeah, 150 more. So then you can go do an invasion point offensive each week is what I gathered, and you would collect 50 Argus Waystones, and you would turn those in for 75 veiled Argonites. So you can hopefully get enough of these veiled Argonites to get a coin or token, whatever they want to call this, once a week. Which will be easier once you've reached Revered with the Argosian Reach, I guess? I don't know how to say that, to be honest. Once you've reached Revered with them, you're going to get another enchant for those shoulders. It's called Boon of the Steadfast. And you can enchant your shoulders, and when you're killing stuff, you're going to get more something. I forget exactly what it was. Argonite clusters, apparently. I don't know what that is.
Sounds
maybe you get
fancy.
Maybe it's a higher drop of pristine Argonite and a lower chance of getting veiled Argonite or something in between. But if you have that shoulder enchant while you're doing your weekly quests or your daily quests, you should up your chance and hopefully be able to get at least one token a week. Again, the catch is going to be reaching that revered status with our Gaussian reach, which I don't know if that's going to be easy or hard. It could be like Suramar questline, which was the biggest pain in the butt, or it could be like one of the other zones, which went pretty quickly in comparison. We're just gonna have to wait and see, and maybe there's stuff on the PTR or stuff that is not on the PTR, or these numbers might change, because right now those are the numbers for the PTR. That's always subject to change upon release. So hopefully we're able to get one of these tokens a week. If not, once you reach Revered, I highly suggest you take a random BOE, bind on equip, enchant it with that Boon of the Steadfast, send it through the mail to an alt, and that way you're able to get whatever those Argonite clusters are faster, so you can get those alts geared faster if you're trying to gear your alts to be raid ready. It's just going to depend on your playstyle. I'm not all that worried about it. If I have to do raids through LFR, I'll do looking for raid. I'm back in school, back to work. I do what I can to experience the storyline. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're speaking like Japanese to me, but
I honestly don't know what a lot of this means. I haven't been to Argus yet,
okay.
So I don't know what veiled Argonite is.
Right.
I don't know what pristine Argonite is. I don't know what these quests are, but the catch-up mechanic is so that you can get geared faster.
Okay.
So that, like, if you jumped in and you boosted a character to 100 tomorrow, or right before this patch came out or whatever, you would level up to 110 as quickly as you could, because when you start out like that and there's all the stories out in front of you and you just want to experience it, you're more likely to bust some hump to get through the storyline.
Right.
By doing everything that you can as much as you can. That's what I did. I got caught up very, very quickly. I started in December, January, boosted my character in around February, March, and by the end of summer I was more than caught up.
Wow.
But the catch-up mechanic's just going to make that easier so that you get geared faster. The better your gear, the higher your eye level. If you're using your gear correctly, the more damage you're going to do, the quote-unquote better player you're going to be.
Right.
That's how a lot of people view eye level, item level, is you're a better player because you can do more damage. That's not really the case. You can have a lower item level and do better. If you're always dying, you're not deep synced, so no one likes you anyway.
Right.
But that's all the news that I have for today. For those of you that don't play WoW, like Lauren said, that is speaking Japanese to you.
Yep.
Because it is. And it's nonsense for me, because right now I don't know what it is. Once I experience it, I can provide a little bit more insight, but without spoilers, that's the best I could do.
Nice. Well, I have just a little bit of news today. Not a whole lot. It'll be pretty short. Got a couple things for Call of Duty. The first being COD Champs is this weekend. COD Champs, if you aren't aware, it is the biggest tournament of the year for Call of Duty. It basically is the end of the current game cycle. So this is the last major tournament for Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. And pro players are super ecstatic because they hate this game, and they're pretty much to the point where they're like, after Sunday, I never have to play this game again. But like I said, COD Champs is this weekend. They actually started Wednesday, and the bracket play starts on Friday, which is like championship bracket play. I think it's maybe 16 teams is what it comes down to. I think it starts with almost in the 60s, something like that. It's a huge tournament at the beginning. The first 2 days of the tournament are pool play, so all these teams are playing against each other, trying to win their pool and get into the bracket. So that's interesting. I'll be watching it this weekend probably. That's when the really fun stuff starts. and go Optic. Let's see. We've also got some other Call of Duty news here. Call of Duty World War II, as you guys all know, comes out November 3rd. Everybody's super excited about it. Well, Sledgehammer has told us a little bit about the special editions that they're going to drop for this game. They always come out with really cool packages. I remember Black Ops 2 came out with the, you actually got a drone that replicated the dragon fire that was in the game. What else? There's been all kinds of cool ones. But the three, I think it's 3. Let me check here. Yep. There's 3 that they've announced so far. The first one is called the Valor Collection. And this one's actually really cool. This is the most recent one they announced. It comes with a bronze statue commemorating D-Day. It's like the soldiers. Everybody's seen the image. Yeah, everybody's seen the image. It's like the soldiers kind of like, I don't know. It's really cool. But it's like an actual bronze statue. So it comes with that. You also will get the zombie Nazi poster. You get a collection of sew-on patches. The Division Pack downloadable content. A steelbook case. And a Blood Raven sword pin. And then there's also going to be a pro version of this collection that's going to come with the Season Pass, which means you get all of the DLC throughout the whole year with the Season Pass. So far, this one is actually only available through pre-order through EB Games Australia. So I don't know if they're going to come out with this for like the US and other countries, but right now it's only available at EB Games in Australia. We've also got the Pro Edition. Of course, it comes with the game. You also get the Season Pass, the Steelbook case, and this thing called the Division Pack, which is a bundle that gives the player 5 exclusive gear sets. That one is going to run you $100, and it's currently available for pre-order at GameStop. So if you're in the US, you can get that one. And lastly, we've got what's called the Special Edition, and it comes with the game, the Season Pass, the Nazi zombie poster, and this really cool World War II style backpack. It's like the leather with like the really cool little buckles. It's got interchangeable patches that you can switch out on it. And it also has like an option where you can switch it from a backpack to a messenger bag. I don't know, it's really cool. But the price tag's a little steep. It's $150 for that package. So don't think I'll be getting that one, but it is cool. Also, a little extra for COD World War II. Any player who participates in the beta is going to get a special helmet, calling card, and emblem when the game drops on November 3rd. So you're not going to get it during the beta, but they said that it will be on your account when the game drops. And also, if you pre-order the game at participating retailers, you're going to also get the animated Nazi zombie weapon camo for your guns. And camos are always really cool. So I'm into that kind of stuff. Last little tidbit about COD. I actually found this today when I was looking up some information for the podcast. There's a COD, they called it a COD-umentary. It's a
I saw that. That's ridiculous.
It's a 93-minute documentary following the history of the Call of Duty series. It's created by Devolver Digital Films and is set to release on Steam and Amazon Video on Demand on September 19th, and then later on for iTunes, Google Play, PlayStation, Xbox, and other platforms. I'm excited for it. Like I said, I'm like a huge Call of Duty fangirl, so I'll probably watch it, probably pick it up on iTunes or something and give it a shot, see how it is. It's kind of, I don't know, it's cool that somebody's actually making something like that. So, for anybody...
There's been...
Oh, go ahead.
There seems to be a lot more, like, video game documentaries or, like, the development of them becoming more shared, I guess. Bad English. I've just noticed I've been seeing more of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I like that kind of stuff. And to go into, like, the history of it, because I didn't come into the series until 2009, when Modern Warfare 2 was out. So I missed, like, probably 4, I want to say. I think I've missed 4 Call of Duties, maybe 5. So, I don't know, I'll definitely check it out. It'll be interesting. Maybe do a little review on it or something. If you are a fan of Overwatch, the Summer Games 2017 are now live. And fan favorite Lucio Ball has been brought back for the games, and basically that's just a futuristic spin on soccer, or football for any of our European viewers. And they've also added what's called Copa Lucio Ball, which is basically just a more competitive style of Lucio Ball. Everybody loved that game mode when it was out last year, so I don't know. I don't play it, but like I said, I am very intrigued by Overwatch, and I'm definitely going to be getting it here soon. So, I don't know.
It's okay. It's kind of like a MOBA.
I watch it all the time.
Like, it's okay. Like, I like playing it, like, a game or two, but, like, again, I don't understand the people that can sit there for hours doing the same thing over and over again.
Let's see, we've also got, within the Summer Games, they have loot boxes that are just, like, special for the Summer Games. And basically they're going to be filled with new skins, voices, emotes, victory poses, and legendary skins from last year's games. You can also purchase the loot boxes with credits, and the older skins are going to be at, like, a discounted price. So, I don't know what the price is on that, but all of this can be available through August 29th, so go out there and play your Summer Games. And lastly, I talked about PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds last week, which is one of those games that I really want to try. And I saw this little tidbit about the game. I think it was earlier today I saw it. But, so Twitch viewers, they watched an average of, or no, they didn't watch an average. They watched 60 million hours of PUBG in July.
Oh, wow.
And there's only 2 other games that have ever done that. So, League of Legends and CSGO, which are the 2 biggest games out there right now, pretty much. They're always at the top of the Twitch list. That's hard to say. But PUBG has been, like, right up there with it. And that's crazy. 60 million hours. I don't know, I just found that really interesting. But that is all the news I've got for today.
So how do you feel about these topics? Please let us know. Send us an email, contact us on social media, or leave us a comment down below. As always, the links are provided in the show notes below. Our next section is our listeners' questions or community segment, and Lauren's decided to change this up for the time being.
Yes, I have. I pretty much I said this last week, but we're aware that this is going to take a little time to get started. So, in the meantime, we're going to start posing a question, and hopefully we can start a conversation with all of you. Today, I'm basically just going to ask Nichelle, and then anybody who would like to comment later on, what games from your childhood, or, like, just in your past in general, do you miss, Nichelle?
I don't miss any games from my childhood or past. Well, like, that's not true. So, last week when I knew you were going to ask this question, I was like, no, I have to go to bed.
Right.
I was like, oh, Doom. Because, like, this is going to take a bit. Okay.
Oh, gosh.
I started playing, I got my first computer when I was 5.
Right.
That was 1995 that I got a computer.
That's crazy.
That was my first computer. I don't remember. I know it was a Mac of some kind.
Right.
Which, if you know my dad.
Oh.
So the fact that I had a Mac is kind of hysterical. Because, like, but that's kind of what was available.
Right. I mean, Macs,
really.
that was, well, yeah. I mean, I think everybody had a Mac back in the day. I mean, I didn't, because we were poor,
like,
but...
not in 1995, but,
well,
like, a few years later, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Not a lot of people had personal computers.
Right.
I had, like, 3.
Yeah.
Segue into that, my dad worked in the computer engineering field, which is why I had technology at such a young age. So, like, if you were alive in 1995 and, like, weren't 5 and didn't have a computer, don't be mind blown. Like, this was a computer that my dad's office wasn't using anymore, and so they let him take it home for me.
Right.
And it didn't really do anything. Like, buttons were missing. Like, I just got it, like, you know, my dad gave it to me to, like
here, have fun.
And, like, yeah, and so, like, I don't remember a whole lot about this computer other than the screen was green, and you actually had to type to start the computer, and, like, there wasn't a desktop.
Mm-hmm.
Not like we have now. Like, you actually had to type in the commands to get stuff to open.
Right.
Like, I hate that kind of stuff. I always have. I love the advent of the desktop, and it's like my favorite thing ever. But like, I started playing video games when I was really, really young too. Like, I played the original Doom with my dad.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't even know when that came out. Like, I don't have a context for it. Oh my god, 1993. Okay, well, I don't remember playing it when I was 3.
Right. It was popular for a long time though, so.
Holy crap! I played Ultimate Doom. Okay, Ultimate Doom was released in 1995.
Okay.
That was probably about the age I was playing it, to be honest. So anyway, I played Doom with my dad. I played card games like Magic with my dad and his friends. Magic the Gathering.
Right.
Apparently I was like pretty good at it, but if you gave me a deck now, I would have no idea what to do with it. So I'm pretty sure I just like sat on my dad's lap while he played Magic.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then like a little bit later, like I remember playing Doom with my dad, and then like there's this gap of time where I didn't play games.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember playing Ultima Online. And Ultima Online released in 1997, so maybe this gap of time is a lot shorter than I think it is. I don't want to go to your webpage. I want to go to your wiki, because your wiki's going to have the history. So, oh my god, I've been playing this since 1998. What the heck is wrong with my life? Holy crap. Like, because, like, I remember playing this stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? But, like, I don't remember the year. And so now I'm looking at this, and at 8 years old, I was playing a massive multiplayer online RPG game. One of the ones that, like, was the catalyst in the advent of what they are today. Like, Ultima Online came out in 1998. I just spelled world wrong. World of Warcraft released in 2004.
Huh.
EverQuest released in 1999.
That seems...
Ultima Online was one of the first... It was not the only one, but it's one of the first MMORPGs that ever was released, and it's dead, essentially, now. So I remember playing that. My first character was Galadriel. She's a mage. She still exists. She's on whatever shard my family plays on, and she's in the Arrow of You guild. She still exists. She's a mule for my grandpa now. I remember that one. And I can't believe this. I remember Ultima Online Renaissance and The Third Dawn and Blackthorn's Revenge a little less. I don't really remember this one too much. Age of Shadows, I do remember the box of that for sure, and I do remember playing it because I was obsessed with playing a necromancer. Because I have always liked the like magic classes.
Right.
So they released Age of Shadows, and you got the Paladin and the Necromancer, and I played the Necromancer. I actually didn't know they even had Paladins. And then after that came Samurai Empire, which was like the Japanese mythology, and they had the ninja, the samurai, and I always wanted to play the samurai. So I made a samurai. And that's when I stopped playing. So around 2004, before 2005, because in 2005 they had another expansion pack called Mundane's Legacy, and they got a new race of elves, and I don't have an elf. And if I had the option to make an elf, I would have an elf. So I know I stopped playing around 2004. So I played that from 1998, which is absolutely mind-blowing. Somewhere between 98 and 2000, but either way I was 10 years old or younger.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Till I was 14 to 15 years old, I played Ultima Online. So I quit playing Ultima Online when WoW came out, but I never played WoW at that time.
Right.
I quit playing Ultima around the time I started marching band.
Makes sense.
I just didn't have time to play, and So my grandpa took over. But apparently after that, they had Mundane's Legacy, which gives you elves, and Stygane's Abyss in 2009, which gave you Gargoyle and some new areas to play, and Ultima Time of Legends in 2015. So like one of the reasons I really loved Ultima Online is it was hard. Like when we say that games are hard, can like stop and think for a second. You put a CD or you load a game and you don't change the base settings of that game. Is there any game that you play right now that is hard?
Well, oh yeah.
Without changing settings, because I know that there's difficulty settings. I'm
I
talking about
gotcha.
like that base setting, like what the normal for the game is, where it's
Well,
an actual challenge that it is hard.
I honestly, okay, so when Fallout 4 was the first Fallout game I ever played, and I just went into the game and didn't change any of the settings, and it was actually a struggle because it was just like all of the storylines, they add a lot of difficulty to it. There's a lot of stuff you have to do, and a lot of thinking goes into what perks to get and stuff like that. So, I mean, that game is a challenge. I would say that was probably the only one, though, that has been, like, a true... Other than, like, player skill gap on online games.
Yeah. Okay, so with Ultima Online, when you first played, you create your character, you log in, and it's like most RPGs, MMORPGs, or even, like, regular RPGs, to be honest. You have your paper doll or what your character looks like, and then you start going and doing stuff. So you don't have a horse, you're a new character, you're just born into this world. So you're running, and you get a skill point because you're running. Okay, I got a skill point because I was running. Cool. I'm punching things. I'm fighting a lizard guy by punching him. Oh, I just leveled up my hand-to-hand combat. Oh, look, they dropped a sword. Now I'm hitting a lizard man with my sword. And now I'm leveling up my swordsmanship. Oh, I cast a spell. And now I'm leveling up my mage ability. Oh, but I can't cast my fireball anymore because I don't have any reagents in my bag. Oh, what reagents do I need to cast my fireball? Hover over the spell or click on the spell however you saw what it needed. See that you need these 2 reagents. Okay, how do I go get those 2 reagents? Well, I can go buy them from a vendor. That, if I remember correctly, there's like no NPC vendors. You have to actually go find a vendor. Which is somebody that like has a house and has set a vendor outside their house to sell stuff, or I can go harvest it myself. So if you're going to harvest it, now you're going to get the harvesting of whatever that's called, like, you know what I mean, herb gathering or whatever.
Right.
Or you can go buy it. And then I remember this section of your paper doll called skills or whatever, and you would actually have to, you could like reallocate skills or something, but like you had this like humongous list of skills that you had to go through and manage to like what would work for your tune. And I mean, like, you seriously could not go, like, if you were going to go do a dungeon, you couldn't just go do the dungeon. You had to, like, make sure you had enough reagents and bandages and all this other stuff, because if you ran out of reagents, you couldn't cast spells.
Wow.
Because they use stuff. And, like, World of Warcraft used to be like that. I personally never experienced it because I didn't play in 2004. But it used to be like that. You used to have arrows in your inventory to use your crossbow or hand bows. You used to have reagents to cast spells. You used to have ammo for your gun. But they got rid of that because people didn't like managing it. It made it too difficult. And like there's this like point where you're removing aspects of the game because it's quote unquote too much to manage, but it takes away the realisticness of the game as well. Like if you were a mage, like technically, like there's two different aspects of magic. There is a mage who is somebody that is an alchemist and is able to do stuff because of the alchemy side, and then there's the group of people that view mages as witches and wizards, where like they somehow intrinsically have all the spell power and that they are using their mana or whatever to cast the spell. So there are two like segments of magic that you can pull from in like the fantasy realm to decide like how you want to manage that. But I don't know. I don't necessarily like how easy video games have gotten. I remember, like, The Sims has always been easy.
Right.
Except, actually, no, it used to be a lot harder because you always had a baby and it always cried. It was always dying.
Or your house was always catching on fire.
I know, right? But, like, The Sims isn't supposed to be a quote-unquote hard game.
No.
World of Warcraft isn't supposed to be the most difficult game. Like, nothing is like that one game that, like, you die every 2 seconds in and, like, is on insane difficulty for normal.
Right.
I don't remember what it's called. But, like, I don't know. I'm just, like, I miss the, like, it's a little bit of nostalgia, and I know that because of the vanilla WoW players, that I sound like them right now.
Right.
Oh, back in the day, like this, that, and the other. But, like, I miss it. I miss actually having to think about what I was going to do to make my character better. Besides, like, oh, I need more, like, intellect gear or whatever. I have no character that requires intellect gear at the moment, so don't even know what that's about. But, like, I miss that, because, like, right now in WoW, it's just, like, pick the item that has the highest eye level. If it does, okay, these are the ones that have the highest eye level. Which one of these has the best, like, strength or secondary stat that I need? That's it.
Gotcha.
Like, it's difficult for me because I didn't know how WoW did its gear system.
Right.
Like, as somebody that just joined right at the, like, middle-ish of Legion, I kind of, because everyone's always talking about eye level. I just thought eye level was important, so I kind of, like, screwed that up. But that's okay. But, like, that's not hard. Like, you read a guide, you find out how to figure out what the best gear for you is, and that's it.
Right.
And you're done. I also miss the Fable series.
Never played it.
It's another RPG. I really like RPG games, in case you haven't noticed. I really liked it. I don't remember a ton about it, and I think it was Fable. Let me Google real quick. Fable... Good hand, bad hand.
Well, while you are checking on that, I guess I can put my 2 cents in here. I guess mine would be pretty much nostalgia type things. Just putting myself back into the situation, I guess, when I was playing certain types of games. The first one that I miss would be the original Super Mario Brothers that was on the original Nintendo. Me and my dad used to sit in the basement for hours playing this game together. We would basically, he would play a level, and if he beat the level, he would give me a try, or if he died, then it would be my turn, and vice versa. And then I always had to have him fight Bowser at the end of the worlds, because I could never beat him, because I was like 4. I think I was 4 years old when we had that game.
It was Fable, by the way.
Okay.
Fable, your progress was measured under your good or evil alignment based on your actions. I just remember, I think they were, like, shown as, like, a hand once, and I just remember that image. The game you're talking about right now, one of the Mario games, yeah, that I remember that as a kid. I guess another one I would add is Mortal Kombat.
Yes, on the Sega.
Neighbor's house and play it. I don't know what it was on, because I wasn't allowed to have a console at that point, because my dad was like, you're not going to sit in front of the TV and, like, rot your brain.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would always go over to Matt and Saeed's house, which you don't remember them.
No.
So.
But yeah.
Yeah, I would go over there and play with them.
Yeah, we also, okay, so at the house I grew up in, up until, like, 6th grade, if you went down to the basement, the whole left side of the basement was my area. It was like a big playroom, and then we had a TV in there, and that's where the not the Super Nintendo, but the Nintendo NES, that's where that was, and we had Mario on that. So me and my dad would always chill over there and play that. But then, if you went to the right-hand side of the basement, that was, like, my dad's man cave. There was this, like, living room area, and then he had a bar and stuff, and he had a big screen TV, and he had a Sega Genesis down there, and him and my uncle would sit there and play Mortal Kombat. And I wasn't supposed to play it, but I would always sit there and watch him play it. But that game was pretty cool. But yeah, Super Mario Brothers definitely is a big one for me. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why I wanted to get that Nintendo Classic Entertainment System. because I want that old Mario game. I love it. Like, I would probably sit there for hours and play it, even today. It's terrible. But other than that, I would say, like, the first maybe 3 or 4 Tony Hawk games are games I spent a lot of time playing back in the day. Especially the very first one. When that game came out, I was just, like, obsessed with it.
Oh yeah, I remember you playing Tony Hawk all the time.
Yep. I used to, like, every time a Tony Hawk game came out, I would get it. And then
you played it ridiculously, and I was like, oh my god, you're just skateboarding around.
But it actually took skill. Like, you had to know the different combos and everything else. And then also, I would say probably both. Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Even though you can get that on the newer consoles, you can download it, which I think I own it on PlayStation. I think I bought it because it was on sale. That game was amazing. That was another one of those games that me and my dad kind of bonded over. I think I was in middle school. I could be wrong. Maybe I was in elementary school. I think I was in middle school. And we had it for PlayStation 2, and me and my dad would sit down in the basement of the house that he had with his ex, and we would like play it until 3 o'clock in the morning. So that's another one that I guess it's like nostalgia. But that game was awesome. I love the Grand Theft Auto games. And then other than that, probably just Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, because I loved that game also. I like to shoot people, apparently.
Yeah.
All the games I play are involving shooting, but that's just me.
I mean, the games I play involve swords and, like, beating the crap out of people.
That's true. So. I do have, like, a little small second portion of this question. If you could pick any one game to be remade, which one would you pick?
Ultima Online.
I kind of figured you were going to say that.
That's the reason that it's died, is they didn't really keep up with the graphic changes over time. WoW has done that. WoW created a stylization that works really well with differentiating or changing over time. Ultima Online was slightly more realistic, but not really, especially given that it was made in 1998. There wasn't really realism in games at that point. But in any case, they tried to, around the time that World of Warcraft was getting ready to release or did release, they came up with a 3D model or whatever of the game, and it was god-awful. And they just never got out of that 2D polygon kind of stage. So it would be really cool if they would remake it, because I do think, I mean, I'm sure it has issues that I never noticed, and because I haven't played it in a really long time that I wouldn't know about, but for me it would just be like really cool to go back and relive Ultima Online in the heydays of seeing people running around the towns like you do in WoW today, and WoW's nothing like it used to be either, and getting to play with my grandparents.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
My dad again. Yeah, because like my grandparents and my dad and I played. We tried to get my aunt into it. And she wasn't having anything to do with it. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a great game. I can actually still go play it. I can always get back on my character, or I can go join one of the free shards. The other reason that Ultima Online failed is EA bought it. So. Oh,
okay.
EA buys games and they fail. So
that's interesting.
I mean, it's true. SimCity is destroyed because EA didn't want to focus on it. The Sims franchise isn't what it used to be because EA moved focus elsewhere.
Gotcha.
They moved some of their better team members away. EA doesn't stick with their flagships like they should.
Well, that kind of leads me into my answer to that question, I guess, the whole EA thing. The game that I would pick to bring, I guess, it's not really a remake, but it would be just to bring it back to life. The NCAA football games. Those games were amazing. And, like, me, I could just remember, I think the last one was maybe 2013, 2012, somewhere in there. They ended up, they stopped making them because of all of the hoopla with should college football players be paid, yada yada. They were basically, the college football players were basically saying, you're using our likenesses in this game, so you should pay us money. But the NCAA says that's against the rules. You can't take any money. So EA actually had to stop making the games. But those games were super fun. They were way more fun than the Madden games. And me and my uncle would sit there for hours and play those games. So that one, I just would love if they could bring that back to life. But it probably will never happen unless eventually the NCAA works something out with players where if their likeness is being sold, they can get money off of it, which I kind of agree with that. I mean, I understand that you're going to college, you're there to do school, but you are playing football. But if you're, like, selling a jersey with my number on it, clearly people are associating that jersey with me. They should get a little something.
Yeah, or at least, like, permission.
Yeah, so anyways, that's my little 2 cents for that. But in the future, we'd love to hear from our viewers. So if you guys could please answer the 2 questions we had for you today. I'll remind you one more time here. What games from your childhood do you miss, or just like in your past in general? And also, what game would you like to be remade? So those are the 2 questions for this week. Feel free to leave us any questions, comments, or feedbacks, or answers to your questions so that we can talk about it on next week's show. And to get in touch with us, you can send us an email, contact us on social media, or leave us a comment below.
Alright guys, thank you for listening to the Gamer's Guide to the Universe. Be sure to visit the YouTube comment section below to join on the conversation, as Lauren said. And of course, you can get the show notes in the down bar just below. If you enjoyed our show, please remember to thumbs up and subscribe and share so that you never miss an episode and you can, share it with other people. When you share our podcast, it gets more viewers and more listeners then, which means we're going to get more feedback. And a lot of the feedback that we've got has been really good so far. We were told that in our first episode, we got a little, I don't remember the exact word, but it basically meant stale, rigid, something like that. And you're correct. We had some stuff going on that day, and we were, like, slightly frustrated because our very first episode
it was so good.
Was pristine. Like, it was better than we could have expected for our first podcast. But we didn't know how to save our audio format. So
bum bum bum.
Bum bum bum. So that was definitely a thing. I thought last week's was pretty good, except for having to edit out like 2 hours worth of personal stuff through.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. We talked about bra fittings. I had to cut that out. We talked about our childhood and growing up, where we grew up in very specific detail. I cut that out. And there were like a bunch of other things that were just like, had to pare it down a little bit.
Right.
So, like, we have things to work on, and I can promise you, if you're looking for a concise podcast, we're unfortunately not for you. Conciseness is not my forte. So, and I don't think it's Lauren's either.
No, probably not. Lauren's either.
So, anyway, as always, we thank you for listening, and we really hope you like this little random tidbit that always gets thrown in the end. Again, like, share, and comment down below. Have a great day.
See ya.